Welcome everyone to the channel. How you guys all doing? I hope everybody's doing well. So today we've got some news from Gaijin. It's called the Pages of History. Now guys, don't throw these little events away. They can be quite fun and they can be quite enjoyable, and sometimes you get some interesting things from them. So before we get started, don't forget to hit that like, comment, share and subscribe please. We're trying to reach 400 subscribers before end of March, which I know is possible with you great viewers out there. So, what are we looking at? The Pages of History. As you can see, you've got a Spitfire shooting down a Messerschmitt. For the whole month, you will have 8 tasks available to you, one by one. Complete of each task will be rewarded. I don't know, that doesn't... Okay. Complete the tasks, you will be rewarded with a trophy containing a reward. While completing all tasks, you will be awarded... tasks will be awarded you with a unique in-game player icon. Detailed description of the current tasks as well as your overall progress can be found by clicking on your nation achievement Pages of History. Sorry about the birds guys. A British aircraft designer that created 24 aircrafts including the fastest seaplane of its era. For his own work on them, he was awarded the CBE when he was only 38. Lead developer of the Supreme Marine Spitfire. Okay? Which became the legendary and the symbol of the Royal Air Force during World War II. You can immediately purchase the profile icon for Golden Eagles until April the 3rd. 11:30 GMT without completing tasks. Click in nickname achievements Pages of History March. Okay. Riggold Michelle, however he says bloody name. There he is. He looks like an outstanding chap, an outstanding achievement. Chap that didn't take nonsense, hard worker. So trophy rewards for each task. Complete of each individual task will bring a trophy with one of the following rewards. 20 to 50% RP boosters for 3 to 10 battles. 20 to 50% SL boosters for 3 to 10 battles. 3 to 5 universal backups. That I agree with. 1 day premium I don't agree with. 1 day premium doesn't really do anything unless you sit all day in front of the computer and just play, like I used to do. 1 random camouflage for a ground vehicle out of the sections of camouflages currently obtainable in the game for completing task or purchasing for Golden Eagles. Hey, come on. Sorry guys, birds are just being naughty. They hear the other birds outside now, they start making a noise. Tasks are available from 11 GMT until 11:30 GMT on the final day of each task. Tasks can be completed in random battles except for assault mode. 1st of March till the 4th of March, British Battle of the Bismarck Sea. In early March 1943, the Japanese undertook a risky operation to relocate some of its troops from the Rabaul to Lae in Papua New Guinea. The islands have decrypted the Japanese messages and created a plan to intercept the convoy. On March the 2nd through to the 4th, the combined air forces of the USA, Australia bombed the Japanese ship destroyers, destroyed most of them. Okay, so now 5th of March till the 8th of March. That's the next one. On the 5th of March 1936, the Supermarine Spitfire took its maiden flight. It was one of the most iconic aircrafts of World War II. During the Battle of Britain, the Spitfire wasn't as numerous as the Hurricane, but were evenly matched against the German Bf-109s. Afterwards, the Spitfires were widely used in the European Mediterranean Pacific campaign. Actually, yeah, the Hurricane, a little fun little fact, was actually, at the outbreak of war, was actually a bomber, a fighter. But when the Spitfire started coming into service, they wanted to scrap the Hurricane and replace it with the Spitfire. But then they saw the Hurricane was actually a very good bomber killer. It could tear through German bombers and it could keep up with German bombers and that. So then they redesignated the Spitfire, the Hurricane, actually as a bomber killer, a bomber interceptor. So yeah, actually go check it up. It's quite interesting how the Hurricane found a new lease on life. I mean, because the Hurricane was very outdated by that time. It was a very old aircraft. So go check it up. It's actually quite interesting. Go check it out. It's quite interesting. March the 9th to March the 12th, Pulaski's operation. On March the 9th, 1944, the Red Army began an offensive to encircle the Wehrmacht forces under Pulaski's and liberate of the city. They were met with a fierce resistance and only managed to push the front line back 13 kilometers. Pulaski wasn't retaken until late June. Okay, so that must be a town. I really don't know much about this battle, so I'm gonna bypass it, guys. 13th to 16th, in mid-March 1945, the Americans and French forces were storming the well-defended fortifications in western Germany. In the 16th day of the operation, the Allies managed to get from Solbraskin to Kolkowski, capturing the entire west bank of the Rhine. Okay, I know I butchered those names, sorry. Yeah, the Germans, the Americans were actually scared to cross the Rhine, because I do know a little bit about this, that the fortifications were so heavy that the Americans were actually scared of losing men, and it took them very long to break through to cross the Rhine because of fortifications. So yeah, I'm not going to go in depth. I don't know so much on the real actual fortifications of the Rhine, but I know they were quite in depth. There was even one side that was equivalent to the French Maginot Line. So yeah, I know it was a very bloody battle for the Americans. They lost a lot of men. The 88s were entrenched well in the mountains and hills and all of that, and well camouflaged that the Air Force couldn't even bomb them. They could just bomb, but they weren't precisely sure where they were. So it was quite a big battle, actually. And quite costly for the Americans. On March 16th to March 19th, Vienna operation. 16th of on the 16th, sorry guys, on March the 16th, 1945, strategic offensive to capture the capital of Austria by the Soviets and the Bulgarian forces began. It took 3 weeks to get to Vienna and another week of urban warfare. The offensive ended with the Soviet victory, and over 100,000 German soldiers were captured. Guys, I'm not going to go in deep because, you know, we tend to forget what the Russians actually did when they took over a town or a city. So I'm not going to go into deep about it. Yeah, I'm just going to move on. I don't really like talking about things that when Russians moved into a town. Yeah, I'm not saying other sides were perfect. There was a lot of atrocities. But what the Russians did when they took towns and cities, guys, it was bad. March the 20th, March the 23rd, Battle of Karmina. After the Six-Day War of 1967, the Palestinian Liberation Organization led by Yosef Arafat, sorry if I mispronounced that name, please, I'm sorry, retreated from the west bank to the eastern bank of the Jordan River into the Jordanian town of Karmina, and continued attacks on Israel from there. On March 21st, 1968, the Israeli army retreated to destroy the town and pushing PLO forces further back into Jordan. The Israelis took heavier than expected losses due to the infiltrament of the Jordanian army that took PLO's side in the conflict. As a result, both sides claimed victory. Okay, it's like that one battle in Angola when South Africa took past the one major large battle taught today. even though it's a new government in the country and everything, and we don't really talk that history of that time, but the Cubans can't. The Cubans say they won the battle. The rebel forces say they won the battle. The South African government and the South African military taught today from those times say they won the battle. So it's just one of those things where no one can come out and say, really, okay, guys, no one really won it. We all just fucked over the little guy that was fighting there. So yeah, but let's move on, guys. March the 23rd to March the 26th, the Battle of Goleta. On March the 23rd, 1943, the battle began near the town of Al Galeta, Tanzania. And it's not Al Alamein, it's Al Galeta. Galetu, something along those lines. Tanzania. After beating the Americans at the Kashmir Pass, the Axis forces expected another easy victory over the inexperienced enemies. But whilst the German tanks were halted by a minefield, they were showed with fire from artillery and tanks, destroying significant majority, losing still, major loss, suffering a major loss. Still, as the Allies went into the counter-offensive mode, they were met with the same countermeasures. The battle ended in a stalemate again. March 27th to March 31st, the battle for Cape Maltapan. On the 27th to 29th, 1941, Italian-British navies battled near the Cape Maltapan in southern Greece. The British, having described the Italian Navy code, the Navy code, they broke the code, okay, Navy code, knew beforehand of the enemy's numbers, training, and advanced for night combat, and took the foes by surprise. As a result, the Italian Navy suffered a heavy crushing defeat, having not received from it until the end of the end of the war. Now, guys, one thing you got to remember about that sentence: the Italian Navy, for all the shit we give the Italian army from that time, the Italian Navy was one of the biggest at that time. I think it was like the second biggest behind Britain. The American Navy wasn't as big as everyone says it was. It was a huge navy. It had big ships. Okay. I think it was the Americans, the French, the Italian Navy, then came the Americans. The Russian Navy was always a poor disaster state. But Mussolini tried to push his navy to engage the British, but they never wanted to, because the Italians saw their navy as their pride. They didn't want to destroy their navy. It's just like Germany didn't want to destroy its surface ships and try to protect them as much as it could. The Italian Navy was the same thing. The admiralties of the Italian Navy weren't in the mood for the war, because it took them years to build up the fleet, the naval that it had, to be the power that it had. It didn't see the pointless destruction of its fleet. And it had a very good navy to contradict what people actually say about it. So guys, yeah, this is quite interesting, quite a nice piece of history here. Yeah, that's all I've got to say about it. Thanks for watching. Keep well. Don't forget to hit that like, comment, share, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.